Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scheduling Conflicts Presents Summer Camp Slasher, Episode 1. I will be your GM for this. We are going to be playing in the Monster of the Week system. I'm pretty excited. Unfortunately, the weather here turned too cold and cloudy just in time for us to do this 3-shot. So for those of you watching now or in the future, normally you would be tuning into The Party Makes Things Worse at this time. That is our sort of mainline show, but scheduling conflicts abound. And so the only premiere show that airs only when other shows are not airing is here. We've often joked that at some point we're going to have multiple scheduling conflicts a week in case like Critical Role cancels a show. We'll also sort of nip on that. I think that might be poaching. I think we might get in trouble if we do that. I will be your keeper for this session. This will be taking place in 1976 during the bicentennial of the good old US of A. We will be in a little town called Midfield, Massachusetts at Camp Findale. With that, I'm going to go around. We're going to introduce our characters. As we play in the next 2 sessions to follow, we are going to have other people coming in and playing as characters and dipping out. So we will be getting a little bit of a rotating cast as we continue. Players have been encouraged to, when they know they won't be in the next session, either find a way to get safe or hurl themselves into danger. So we'll see what we end up doing. I'm going to pass the introduction mic over to Ty.
My name's Spencer, and my name's Tyler. I'm playing a guy named Xavier Dragomir today. He's a very weird guy.
That's all we're getting? We're getting his name's Xavier Dragomir. He's a weird guy?
Weird guy.
All right, guy. I guess we're really sticking to the what does Brandon Sanderson call it? Play to find out, right? I guess we'll learn a little bit more about Xavier Dragomir as we continue.
Hey, my name's Spencer. I'm going to be playing Brett Andrews. He is sort of a street tough who's been down on his luck for a while. He's a drug dealer. He like hot wires cars. He comes from the city of Chicago to this small town, and he is cousins with Xavier Dragomir, who presumably got him this job that he certainly shouldn't have.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. So you guys, for a little bit of information we didn't get, given the full spread of options, you both decided to play camp counselors, right? Yep. So we have 2 people that are sort of, I'm curious, we're somewhere between like 18 and 23. Maybe 17 if you were really responsible in high school or whatever. Where are we landing in there?
Yeah, Xavier just graduated high school. He's 18, and his mom made him come out here instead of working out in the attic, which is what he does.
You need to get more social before college.
Brett is 20. He certainly should have another job. He doesn't. So here he is.
Absolutely fantastic. Okay, well, hello campers, and welcome to Camp Findale, our little slice of heaven in the beautiful mountains of the great state of Massachusetts. Findale sits just outside of Midfield, Massachusetts, and is one of the great sort of financial centers of Midfield. It's the kind of town that opens up in the summer. Restaurants open only for a few months. People come in from all over. They send their kids off to camp. Maybe they spend a week in the area. And riding on that financial success is, of course, the Findale family. The mayor of town is, oh goodness gracious. It's just right in front of me, and I've misplaced our mayor. No. Right over here. Elias Findale is the mayor of this town. A long time ago, the Findales became famous because they brought the railroad to this tiny corner of Massachusetts. Most famously, when they built the Centennial Tunnel 100 years ago tomorrow. The Centennial Tunnel is right next to this place. But as some of you may be aware, if you're, I guess, really into trains or whatever, the railroad system in America all but collapsed right before the 80s, fell into total disuse almost after World War II, and we are in that time. And so the Findale family fortune is no longer found on railways and coal cars. It's found in Camp Findale. You two are camp counselors. Have you been counseling for, so it sounds like it might be Brett's first year at 20, which is hilarious.
Yep.
And it sounds like Xavier, however, Xavier, did you go to this camp and are now a counselor? Because you sound kind of familiar with it.
Xavier has gone to this camp every year because his mom is a secretary to one of the Finsdale businesses.
Huge. I love it. I love it. As some of you may notice, I will make one little, let's call it a topical note here at the beginning of the session. I am aware that the music is already spooky. Hey, hard to find royalty-free sort of 70s tracks. Not really a thing that is too easy to get a hold of. So we will, unfortunately, I guess we're riding the spooky train the whole way through. All right. So with that, we are going to be playing it a little fast and loose here because some of what is going on in the camp is going to be up to you guys. And we are joining our characters in very much Act 1 of their stay here at Camp Findale. The only thing I can tell you is we are well into the summer. We'll be joining you as the lunch bell rings, or I guess the lunch bugle sounds, on July 3rd, 1976, right at noon. So off in the distance, we open on the sound of as somebody with a real ass bugle is standing out front of a camp playing into a microphone. That same sound playing over these big PA systems on poles throughout the camp. We see a beautiful corner of the country, a gorgeous forest of pines and maples overlooking a beautiful lake, and off in the distance, we see Midfield, Massachusetts. Just 10 minutes by car, but a good hour on foot if you're trying to make that same distance. And that's if you're, healthy and hearty and able to walk on the road. What I'm going to ask is, what activities do we find our two chaperones either leading or avoiding in this moment? As we sort of zoom in through the camp, we see the big hand-carved wooden sign that says Camp Findale, founded 1876, and we swing past some cabins. Whoever of you wants to take it up first, this is Monster of the Week. The story's yours as well as mine. Where do we find our two soon-to-be adventurers, soon-to-be survivors?
Xavier's doing Tai Chi on the lawn.
Naturally. All right, so are you leading a Tai Chi class, or are you just doing Tai Chi?
I have a bunch of kids around me who I'm like, this is what you have to do, and they're just looking at me in confusion. I'm like, why would we do that?
Okay, so we cut over and we see that on a little wooden sign is binder clipped a sheet of paper that says Tai Chi for beginners. We are wrapping up that class. That noontime bugle goes off. These kids are kind of itching to leave, but you are continuing to go through these sort of kata-like motions with the lake behind you. I have an incredibly important question. Is Xavier hot?
Sad, so not hot in the face, pretty bland, but in the body, like literally this kid just does like push-ups and like Tai Chi and like stuff in the attic.
We swing the camera backwards a little bit, and we see that outside of this group of kids that is not understanding Xavier's instructions, we pull back to see a larger group of other camp counselors, some of the other older campers, who are standing around trying to look like they're busy doing other things and staring at Xavier, who, because it is taking place in 1976, is in light wash jeans, no shirt, headband on, going through these motions, dripping with sweat. So as we sort of get this weird mix of this, very 70s heartthrob, plain face, rockin' pod. We count around to a few conversations, and we hear the insult that has been flung at you the most as one of the other boys of the camp gets a little bit jealous. One of the older ones who's about to age out. We hear somebody go, "Here's a fucking Ruski anyways. Your last name Dragomir in 1976 has called some less than positive attention." You hear that sort of ring out from one of these other groups of kids as we are introduced to this character. The camera whips over to where we find Brett Andrews. Spencer, cut me off a slice of bread.
Brett Andrews is currently set up in the cafeteria. He's in like a corner around a bend behind one of those big salad bars, so you can't really see him where he's sitting. Brett has black hair, permed 1,000,000%, but he would never say that. It's pushed back. It's like above shoulder length, but unkempt. He is handsome in that like ratty way where you're like, oh yeah, that guy, I don't think that I would want to hang out with him, but he seems like he's cool in some way. I don't really get it. He's ratty. He's got like a bit of a mustache on the lip, nothing crazy, but it's there. He's not super built, but he's wiry. Not like his cousin Xavier. Not at all. He's sitting here, and there is one of the campers sitting in front of him. Brett is smoking a cigarette, and he says, all right. What do you want? What are you looking for?
You see they look over nervously to their friend and go, we hear you've got some reefer. Looking to buy a little bit of the devil's lettuce. You see a just pepperoni faced, like greasy teen with two other absolute Dorcases. This is a lot of energy coming off. One of them it is summer, and one of them is carrying a binder in their hands that is like loaded with papers. You're like, what could that even be for?
Brett pulls out a clipboard that has like an interior section that clips out, and on the front it's his like duty assignment for the day that he has not read. He is meant to be on lifeguard duty right now. He's not there.
Great.
He pops open the like inner plastic casing, and in that is like rolls of joints, ecstasy, LSD, like a bunch of stuff. And he goes, hey, how old are you?
Looks over to his friends. I'm 18. This kid is visibly 14 years old. They are visibly 14.
Yep. And he says, that'll be... How many are you looking for? 3 joints? 4? How many fucking kids are there? 3?
How many? What? 3? A complete guess.
He says, $5.
$5?
He's fleecing them. That is way too much.
They turn and open wallets. You hear the clinking of change and the shuffling of bills. $5.76. About 45 seconds of contentious conversation later, they turn, and you are handed 2 singles, a pile of quarters, and a good bit of just true loose change that makes up this $5 hoard as you crumple it into your own pocket. You hand 3. What do you hand them? Do you actually give them weed, or do you give them... Okay, I was curious.
3 joints. 14 is old enough that I'm going to deal. If they were like 13, 12, he was going to be like, get the fuck out of here. But no, he hands him actual joints.
Deeply funny. At that, we hear the bugle sound in the distance, and you stiffen up because that bugle means lunchtime, and you're in the kitchen selling drugs. We hear the door behind him, boom, slam open as the cook enters. First choice of the game here. What's your relationship to the cook of this camp? Is it positive? Is it negative? What's this cook like?
I think positive. I think the cook knows what Brett does, and the cook likes to feel appreciated. And when the kids get munchies, they really appreciate the food. So he soaks it up a little bit more.
I love that. This person sort of knees the door open, carrying a giant pot of chili that they are carrying into the room. Apparently out of one of the freezers. Maybe as you turn around, you see that sure enough, it is block after block of frozen chili that has been just sort of stacked into this pot. And they go, "Kick the stove on!" as they turn the corner and lift this huge pot up onto the stove there. I'm trying to think. Black Perm 1976. They go, "Help me with the handle, Cher," as they hand you sort of the other, and the two of you lift it up ons. That will start warming up. The first couple of kids to get lunch today are going to get some pretty good chunks of ice in the middle of their chili bowls, guaranteed. This is Larry Fitzgibbons, the cook.
Well, Larry, that's about enough work for me, so I'm gonna skedaddle and come back once that's heated up.
What? We just started! As you are already out the front door and heading towards the water. So we've got Xavier and Brett both sort of by the lake in these two sets as people start to migrate towards this sort of area to eat. You do see a couple of the people, those few that have cars, some of them, this would mainly be the older kids, so kids that are, between like 17 and 19 with richer parents who can, sort of get a hold of a car. Outside of the few who are driving truly chaotic jalopies, just really some stitched together vehicles. You see a Ford Fairlane that what was once the shifter knob is now been replaced with a drumstick that has been jammed into that so that it can work instead. The actual one broke off long ago. A couple of these sort of sputtering cars followed by some way too nice 76 vehicles pull outside. I don't know if 76 is too early for a Firebird, but some asshole has a Firebird if they can. As the few kids go out to maybe get something in town, others head there. Where the two of you headed during the same time?
The Xavier's gonna he's gonna patrol the perimeter of the camp.
All right, Xavier, taking his job just chronically seriously, begins to pace around some of the sort of outside edges of camp. As Brett, you are dogging out of the mess. Where are you headed?
Brett's walking to the parking lot where he has 1972 Ford Econoline van.
No!
He creaks the door open, slams it shut, rolls down a window, and starts smoking one of his own supply here.
All right, we love it. We love it. So these two things in perfect contradiction of one another. We cut just a few moments ahead. As Brett leans back and lights that, we watch the sort of clock next to him start to spin a little faster. If our budget was higher, we would stop and do a little psychedelic wander with a little bit of an arts budget. But we don't have an arts budget. And so instead, we cut to outside. It's about 20 minutes later. Xavier, you've been making your way around the camp, and now you're walking through the parking lot. And you smell weed.
Xavier's head snaps, and he gets into like a prowl position, and he starts slowly stalking towards the smell.
We watch him stalk forward, going into the stance. We zoom wide, and we see a group of kids that are peeking around the edge of one of their cabins. One of them punches the other one in the ribs and goes, "I told you he does that!" And they all giggle as they watch you truly prowl up to one of these cars. Quickly, we see one of them goes, "Oh shit!" and runs off into their own car. Opens the door, and we see them with a plastic baggie running away deeper into the camp, thinking that maybe you check all the vehicles at this time. Brett, you hear I assume a knock on the back door of the van.
Shit. No one's home.
Brett, I know it's you. Open up. You cannot hide in the darkness forever.
You can't. No, you can't hide in the darkness forever. There's a copy of Michael Moorcock's The Eternal Champion in Xavier's back pocket right now. He is in the middle of that book.
Brett crawls over like the center console, goes back, sets the joint in his mouth, and opens the back door and says, "Get in, come on."
Xavier walks in. Brett, you really shouldn't be smoking that chief.
It's 1976. You might have just coined that phrase.
I appreciate the term. I'm on a break, actually, according to my schedule. So,
Go ahead.
Aren't you supposed to be lifeguard all day?
And at that exact moment, as you look forward, Brett, off in the distance, we hear an ear-piercing scream ring out over the camp. We hear a "Ow!" ringing out across the space just as those words are said, and the two of you make eye contact.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do first roll.
What is it? What? Why are you laughing before you even start?
Xavier does hand signs and to make himself run faster, and Naruto runs to the sound of the scream, trying to use the magic of the secret sect his grandfather was in.
Yeah, buddy, for sure. What move could we possibly call? Wait a minute. I have a question. Are you actually trying to do something unnatural here?
I'm trying to use magic.
Yep, use magic. I was about to say, do one thing beyond human limitations. So go ahead and we're going to roll plus weird. So for those of you now or in the future who haven't played Monster of the Week before, it's a very simple 2d6 system. And the players describe what they want to do first. And then we look at the move list and, try to figure out what it is exactly they're going for so that we can kind of, figure out what they want. And maybe we'll have to sort of wander off of those and homebrew a little bit. Thankfully, in this moment, it's incredibly cut and dry. Brett, you look up, realize that you're supposed to be on lifeguard duty, watch Xavier do hand signs, turn, and sprint. Xavier, what's the result of your roll?
It was 8 plus 2, so 10.
8 plus 2 is the magic works without issue. Choose your effect. And your effect was... in
beyond
this case,
human limitations.
Yeah, do one thing that's beyond human limitations. You watch Xavier turn and run, honestly, incredibly fast. Arms at his side, head forwards, dashing into the camp.
Holy shit. I throw the joint down, I stomp it out, and I start running behind him.
The two of you book it into the
okay.
center of Camp Findale. And much to your horror, Brett Andrews, as this screaming continues, it's coming from the lake. The two of you dashing ahead, arms swinging. One of you arms swinging, the other one arms at the side, head forward. I absolutely love it.
I jump in and try to grab the child.
You haven't seen a child yet. You just heard a scream.
We're gonna roll with it. Xavier runs. You hear that scream. Look to the side. Wait, no. You run to the thing. Look to the side. See one of the teens of the camp screaming. Full slasher flick. Hands on the side of the face. And you look out and you see a body, head down, back up, floating in the lake.
I dive in the lake.
You dive in. We're going to hold up on that speed. Brett, we see the camera whips around and we see you like skid in the sand a little bit and like grab the sides of your head as you see an actual teen drowning in the lake.
Oh shit. You, the one screaming. What did you see?
There's a kid. It's just one of the teens who just saw that somebody is full face down, dead man's floating in the lake.
I run over to the little like seat tower where I know the flotation devices are.
Yeah.
And I grab the big buoy one with the rope and I throw it out towards where Xavier's going.
As you guys sort of converge on this and throw that out onto the side of the lake. Into the lake so that Xavier can grab it. Xavier, you get to this kid. They are floating back up in the water, still as anything. What do you do?
I'm gonna flip him over and see if he's all right.
You flip them over and see, flipping them over, you see this younger boy. He's maybe 14 or 15 years old. Skin an unearthly blue, lips dark. This person has been under the water probably for the better part of 10 or 15 minutes, just unnoticed. They just went silent while other people were attending to other things, and the lunch bell definitely didn't help any. You grab a hold of the raft and begin to be pulled backwards. as that comes up to the corner, we see the only thing I know about Clayton Duggins is that he is Brett Andrews' arch nemesis. Who is Clayton Duggins?
Clayton Duggins is like captain of the football team, but we've graduated, so it doesn't really fucking matter. But he thinks it does. Sort of the golden boy of the town. He does this job because he loves it here. He doesn't do this job because he needs it. He's got a regular job. He just does this on the side.
Huge. We see Clayton Duggins, captain of the football team, makes running up the side. They turn, see this kid getting dragged, see you, Brett, and go, "What'd you do, asswipe?" And turn to run out towards where this kid is.
Fuck you! There's something more important. I grab one of the kids and I say, "Hey, go get Tommy Wiggins." Tommy Wiggins is one of my crew members.
I love that. Go get Tommy Wiggins. They run off. Wait a minute. What am I saying? Roll plus charm. That's a clear manipulate someone.
Plus charm, not bad.
Oh, unless as part of having a crew, are you supposed to be able to just like summon them to you in a moment of need?
Let me check the actual description. You have a crew of 3 or 4 people who will help you out with pretty much anything they count as a team. That's all I get.
Yeah, given the phrasing of that, I'm actually going to say don't roll. If this is one of your things where it's like, these people are there, they will help you, then you say that and this person runs off to go get Tommy Wiggins. As you are pulling Xavier, this kid, up to shore, go ahead and roll plus sharp for me.
All right. Question.
Yeah.
For Mystic, every time you successfully use magic, take +1 forward. Does that mean my next roll gets +1?
Yeah. +1 forward would mean that yes, you it's +1 not just on the next thing, it means anything related to the magic. You would have +1,
okay.
Right? So you automatically got to be able to run very fast. So right now, for instance, if you were to try to do CPR and you were to say like, and I'm going to use this like empowered thing to like try to really push extremely hard and like get that done, I'd give you a +1 on the CPR check. Now, if you were like, I'm going to try to remember this kid's name, then well, which is what you're doing.
Hard.
Yeah, this is what you're doing right now. What was the result of that?
But for now, roll sharp.
Yeah.
Nah, not good. 4.
You don't even recognize this kid.
All right, I'm going to try and use magic, and I'm going to give him CPR, but I'm going to suck all the water out.
Okay, go ahead and use magic. I'm going to be candid. Don't mess this up. This is quite the maneuver here. You do chest compressions, and the fact of the matter is, Xavier, this kid has already drowned. You're way too late, but nobody else knows that. And so you go to do mouth to mouth, and remembering your grandfather's book, mentally, we get a little cutaway to you flipping through pages, and we see those pages whizzing by with extreme speed as you try to recall this to mind. What was the result of that check?
11.
11's a success. I'm trying to look here.
The water's out, and it's still dead.
Like a geyser.
Yeah, that's it. I push the water, it's still a dead body.
It's just a dead body that's like 5 pounds lighter.
You know what I'm going to give you? We have heal 1 harm from an injury, cure a disease, neutralize a poison.
I can see the water.
Here's what I'm going to say. This person is not dead right now. What you managed to do, you get that water out, and you go back to chest compressions. You get their heart beating, but they stay unconscious, and you know that's bad. Their heart is beating, but they aren't waking up. In a lot of these sort of things, that's not that big a deal, but you know that is actually a really bad thing. This person does still need help. But they are alive, and you've done that through the power of a little bit of this magic from this book. Again, this has proven true to you. Your dedication continuing to pay off. A lesson that your cousin doesn't seem to want to learn. As you step back, Brett, I assume that you are sort of running down this slope at the same time as Clayton Duggins. The two of you roll up, and you see this kid still unconscious, but they've coughed up the water.
Fucking Clayton, use the radio or something. Call somebody up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Go ahead and make, because he is your nemesis, make a manipulate someone roll. Roll plus charm. I want to know what kind of call Clayton's about to make. Is he more worried about the kid, or is he more worried about trying to screw over Brett?
Can I help?
How do you help in this moment?
I say, Clayton, we really need help right now. What if he's certain?
Yeah,
Or, wait. Let me say it like my character. Clayton, the light of life is almost out of his eyes. Get someone quickly to require aid.
He's breathing barely. We got to get help quick.
Xavier, go ahead and roll plus cool to help out.
That's cool. 7.
Your help grants them +1 to their roll, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger. As you say that, Xavier, your hand, you sort of try to scoop this kid up, and your hand dips into some of the water that this kid has just spit up. It's running down the side of his face and is making a pool sort of around his head that is kind of unnaturally large. You're expecting enough spittle to account for what has happened here, but quickly, there's like the sand around him is dampening. As your hand goes through, you feel a tingling in your arm, and like a little bit of a bracing pain rings up as you pick him up the rest of the way, trying to shake it off. Go ahead and roll that charm roll, Brett.
Oh wait, and because of the sec bonus I have, whenever I'm helping someone, you get to roll +2.
Nice. +2 instead of a
Wow.
+1's huge.
That is a 14 total.
With a 14, seeing this kid's ghastly pale face, all of the malice, Clayton Duggins at the end of the day hates you, but is still a camp counselor and takes his job extremely seriously, gets on the radio and calls out. 1 second while I get my next few set of notes here. You see fumbling for the radio. They go, Anita, we got a problem over here. Xavier just pulled Victor Miller out of the lake, and hangs up that call. You know that she'll be on her way soon, and Brett, quickly the gears start rolling. You're gonna need a good ass story, and there's probably a lot of people who saw you not there. As all of that is starting to move, how do you react? It's gonna be not too long. This isn't, a massive complex or anything. It's gonna be maybe a minute or two. As Xavier scoops up Victor Miller, what do you do?
I was just going to start walking the way I know they would be coming from.
Totally. So you're headed towards like the medical tent, doctors. I don't know what you call that. The sort of medical cabin of this place.
Yeah.
Okay. As you wander off, headed deeper into the place on this most fateful of days, Brett, what are you doing as Xavier starts to like jog towards the medical cabin?
I'm looking for Tommy. Has he been summoned?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Clayton's definitely the kind of person to be running behind Xavier in that same direction. Just as the two of them leave, a little bit of relief washes over your shoulders, and then you turn and you see Tommy Wiggins, one of, what do you call your little impromptu squad here?
That's rough. I'm gonna call them Bad Boys 3. They're the Bad Boys 3.
The Bad Boys, good to know. I can't wait. At some point, a like 50-year-old Brett Andrews who just walked out of Bad Boys 2 is gonna be like, yeah, who'da thunk? Who'da thunk? After all that time. Yeah, absolutely. As those two run off, you see Tommy Wiggins, the one of the Bad Boys 3. You and your one other compatriot rolls up and goes, Brett, what the heck happened?
That kid drowned. But all right, here's the thing. Don't ask any questions.
Shit, who was on lifeguard duty?
That's the thing. Don't ask any questions. I was making a deal and I wasn't here. But what you're going to say is you were with the other boys. You were over cliff jumping down a ways over there, right?
Naturally.
Just within the purview of the lifeguard duty. I ran out over there because I heard you guys were doing it. You took a bad tumble. You got the wind knocked out of you. They thought you were in trouble. I came over. I got you. I brought you out. That's why I wasn't here. Got it? Tell the other bad boys. Get out of here.
All right, we got it. Turns and runs in the other direction. Tommy Wiggins off to tell the bad boys their instruction. You've got an alibi. You've got a reason to not be by the lake. So hopefully that'll cover your ass to some degree. At this same time, we sort of cut wipe over to Anita Dean. Anita Dean is the doctor is the nurse slash medical staff here at Camp Findale. In the medical cabin, we see Victor Miller laid down on a bed, and Anita Dean flashing a light to his two eyes, trying to keep an eye on him, goes to get like a stethoscope to listen to his back and his chest as Brett, I imagine sometime right around now, you like burst through the door.
I cleared all the kids out. None of them are left. I got the last ones out of the water.
Yeah, you see Clayton looks up at you and goes, "Good job. Great. Too bad we already got a dead kid in here." And Anita goes, "Brett!" And sort of, not Brett, Clayton, sort of yelling out across
He's still alive.
Yeah, as you sort of make your way over, you see the body of Victor Miller laid out. He is still pale, and seemingly not doing that well. You hear Anita says, "I don't know, his pupils are dilating in response to light, but..." And she puts this stethoscope to his chest. It's like, I still hear water in his lungs. And you guys know, from having watched just now, and especially Brett, because you're a lifeguard, there's no way. He might have had a little bit, but she's like, it sounds like he might still have a lot of fluid in his lungs. I'm worried we're gonna have to take him to the hospital.
Give me 1 second. And I reach into my, I occlude view a little bit, and I open up my clipboard, and I've got some smelling salts in there, just in case something goes a little sideways. I pull one of those out, I close it, and I'm gonna I got some smelling salts for in case any of the kids passed out. I can see if that might get them up.
You can try it. I don't know if that'll work, but if he's awake, maybe we can try to get him to cough. Go ahead. And sort of lets you step ahead. You see she looks back. There's a thing of smelling salts empty on the counter with the lid off and to the side. She's like, what?
Unrelated.
You walk up and do this. I'm going to say roll act under pressure to try to sort of get this kid up.
All right. That's an 11.
With an 11, you do what you set out to do. So my question to you is, what are you going for here? Like, are you trying to just get him awake so that he can cough? Are you trying to get him to what are we going for?
Famously, smelling salts, if you're not expecting them, do make you cough. So I'm trying to get his body to react. Maybe he wakes up, but primarily I'm trying to get that last bit of fluid out.
You crack these smelling salts under his nose, and Victor Miller coughs up two big, coughfuls of water that just scatter out onto his onto the blanket in front of him that has been sort of tucked around the edge. You see Anita looks around and goes, "I thought you said you already did CPR." She moves around to his other side. As he looks up at you, he grabs on to the collar of your shirt and is mouthing something. You can't quite make it out. Roll plus sharp.
Not my strongest. An 11 plus 1. 12.
12. Fantastic. With that, no matter what, you were going to get something, but you hear in unearthly details, he looks at you. He says, the raft. There was the raft. And another gout of water, it's like he can't spit it up, and he falls back and starts to convulse. As she comes around the other side, we're not going to over-describe. Victor Miller passes away on that bed as if his lungs were still full of water. Anita stands up and goes, "Oh, fuck. Sorry, oh, darn. I gotta I had to make a call. Oh no. She runs off to the other room to pick up the rotary phone, and you start to hear the as she is playing out a call to some other place. You watch as Clayton Duggins vomits into the garbage can, turns and pukes as the two of you... How are the two of you reacting in this moment as you witness the drowning of Victor Miller?
Brett stumbles back a few steps into the wall and then collapses, like sitting head in hand.
Grandpa Papa was right.
Is this the same? So it's the same Grandpa Papa then, yeah?
Yeah, we have the
It
same
is.
Grandpa Papa.
Okay, Brett, you
Yeah.
overhear Xavier mumbling this under his breath. Xavier, you seemed like you had more to say.
No. I was gonna say Grandpa Papa, my dad's side, his mom's side. That's why I have Grandpa Papa
I love that.
last name.
So, as we watch this scene, we back up and we start to some sad, I don't know, some sad needle drop. Some like good 70s sad music comes on that we simply cannot afford. As the two of you, if you don't have anything else to do in this scene, we're going to cut ahead maybe an hour or two. All right.
Yeah.
As we cut ahead, the door to this sort of little clinic area has been closed. A few kids that were suffering from scrapes and burns have been moved out. One nursing a really bad stomachache, it's Stefan's character, he'll be here in a few days, is sort of moved off into a side room and the door is shut so that he can have some privacy. You, all three of you, Brett, Xavier, and Clayton, and actually... Tommy Wiggins is. So are there three bad boys, or is Brett the third bad boy?
They are the bad boys 3. I'm more of a mentor figure. I'm not actually in the crew.
So we see the Brett, Xavier, Clayton, and Tommy Wiggins as a part of the Bad Boys 3. All three of them here sat up along the side. In the office behind you, we hear the voices muffled of Anita Dean speaking with the mayor of town / owner of this establishment. She is speaking to Elias Findale. You hear raised voices and shouting as you turn around. I'm trying to think of how it's gone from here. As it goes around, you hear a loud crack and turn to see Anita slap Elias in the face, and Elias storm out of the office and slam the door behind him. He pulls up a chair, flips it over backwards, and sits in it in front of you guys and goes, all right. You're all going to tell me what happened, one at a time. I need to know the details. And then he looks over at Anita, and you see him mouth something, and then goes, and we're going to keep this quiet for now. We don't need panic in the camp. So he points to the first person in line, and it's Clayton Duggins. Clayton goes, well, I was on my way to the mess. Sorry, whatever. I was on my way to get food, and I heard a scream, and I ran up, and the kid was upside down in it. Xavier was running. I think he might have been on drugs. He was running weird. He sort of, one of the Bad Boys 3 sort of yells something, and he goes, shut up! Ran up, and this kid was there, and Brett showed up like 5 minutes later, running in from the parking lot. Me and Xavier managed to pull him out. That's I don't know anything beyond that. I wasn't there when he went, when he went in the water. You see that at that. You watch Elias sort of bristle. And he goes, "Did a girl scream too?" And Clayton goes, "She was blonde, teen." And he goes, "Thank you. It's a summer camp." Whatever. All right, Clayton. He turns. I'm gonna ask who is next in line. It's one of the two of you.
I got this.
It's Xavier. Is right next to Clayton.
12:12 p.m. Scream heard. 12:13 p.m. Hand signals done. Run.
Do you
Look at
take
Clayton.
out a memo pad?
Run aerodynamically. Jump into water. Find boy. 12:20. He's blue. Get back to shore. 12:23. Look at the girl who screamed. She's a 6. 12.
Oh, whoa!
12:47. Victor died.
What? Oh, okay. I'm glad you had your notes in order. He goes, I spoke with, Mrs. Dean, and she doesn't seem to understand what happened. I'm told that you, and she looks over to, who administered CPR? Was it Xavier? It was, right?
Yes.
It administered CPR, and then the boy was still drowning when you showed up. What happened?
I think that might be because I am not CPR certified.
What? He looks over at Clayton, who wide-eyed looks over and goes, "You're not?"
It's the 70s, so it's an idea. It's not really a certificate.
Oh. Why would you prank the GM this way? So, like, okay.
no,
Is there
I'm
nothing you do then? Do they just say, wing it, dog? Like, it's 76. There's really no such thing as, like, you have to do classes to be a lifeguard. You've derailed this fucking game, Ty. Stop.
I'm sorry,
No,
I'm sorry,
we're fully
I'm sorry.
stopping, and now we're going to look up what in 19... You wanted this.
CPR was introduced in 1960. The AHA began teaching CPR in 1960 and endorsed it in 63. So there was certification, but it hadn't been that long.
It's been 17 years.
Yeah.
16
I'm
years.
certified,
And so Xavier says that, and then Clayton looks up and makes eye contact with Brett, and in unison, you both say, "Yeah, there's a certification."
There is.
Over the top of what he
I'm
goes.
certified. He's certified.
The mayor goes, "Okay." So the two actually qualified lifeguards stood by while Xavier administered CPR to the boy, who then died.
It seemed like he knew what he was doing. He just started doing it.
Under Clayton's supervision. Just Clayton and I pulled him out of the water.
He looks to the next.
Clayton
I'll
said.
ask, is the next person Brett, or is the next person the Bad Boys 3?
The next person's Brett.
Okay. He looks to you, Brett, and goes, "All right. So I'm hearing you ran up late. I'm hearing that you didn't do CPR, and now one of the campers has passed away. I think it's about time you started explaining yourself, young man."
Yeah. So I was on duty. I was doing my lifeguard thing. I point over and I say, Davey. He came up to me while I was sitting up on the perch, and he was, crying, screaming. He was saying, Tommy fell in off the cliffs. He's drowning out there. He's going crazy. And obviously the cliffs aren't in our purview. They're not supposed to be in the cliffs. They're not supposed to be doing cliff jumping. So, don't do that, guys. I told him that when I ran over. Tommy had the wind knocked out of him because he slipped over the cliffs, fell in the water. So I pulled him out, and he was, I was trying to make sure he was set. I pulled him over towards the parking lot so he'd get warmed up. I was worried about him going hypothermic, so I was getting him warm. And then I heard the scream. I saw Xavier running that way, crazy fast, by the way. Ran behind him, jumped back up on the perch where I was previously, grabbed the buoy, the life-saving device, threw it out after him so they could pull him out. And then Xavier started doing CPR, seemed like he was certified.
All right, so now the Bad Boys 3 are now going to do the help action. Are now going to help out. I don't know what the plus cool for the Bad Boys 3 is, or if this is an... so here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a choice. Because there's no hard mechanics on this, the Bad Boys 3 will have one of two effects in this moment. You can take a +1, no chance of failure. Or the Bad Boys 3 can roll. If you roll a 1 through 6, you will take a -1. If you roll a 7 to 9, you'll get that +1, but something is going to go wrong. If you get a 10+, you'll get a +2, and they'll have a really great story. Do you want to just take +1, or do you want to risk it?
I'm going to take the +1, but I want to hear what the Bad Boys 3 have to say. Tommy, Davey, and an unnamed third that I haven't done yet.
Absolutely.
Tristan.
What was it?
Tristan, I don't know. TDT. It just made sense to me.
It's Tristan.
It's got to be another E. It's Tommy, Davey, and
Oh yeah, Tommy Davey.
Jimmy, probably.
All right. We're doing it. You see Jimmy speaks up first, and he's like, yeah, so Tommy went up on the cliffs, and Tommy went, I went up on the cliffs, and then Jimmy's like, and we know we're not supposed to. And Davey goes, obviously we're not supposed to. And Tommy goes, and I jumped in, I was trying to impress this girl. Didn't get her name. Jumped in, and I took it kind of funny. My foot slipped, went in bad, landed chest first. Jimmy goes, always lands chest first. Davey goes, wind knocked right out of him. Tommy goes, couldn't see anything, seeing stars. Next thing I know, I feel, I hear the kids running. Brett, run. Almost he must have sprinted the second he heard what happened. He's pulling me out of the water. Jimmy goes, he's pulling him out of the water. Tommy goes, gets him up on it, starts doing everything, gets him all set up. And then it goes back to Jimmy, who's like, it was frankly heroic. And hard to believe it. Tommy was like, he saved my life. You see that Tommy has dark bags under his eyes. You lean a little too close, and they're meant to look purple. They're too purple. It looks like they might have literally taken like a little bit of Kool-Aid powder to make him look like tired. And you're like, clever, but the two over this like cacophony of explanation, Elias goes, all right, keep it down. And Brett, go ahead and roll manipulate someone with a +1.
With my previous job, I can ask you what will convince this person to do what I want. You have to answer honestly, but not completely.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be pretty straight with you because this is a 3-shot. We started our adventure at noon. It started at like 2:30. You know that tomorrow is the bicentennial boat race, and that this is a really big deal because it is also the 100th anniversary of the park. The mayor's tied up in all of that. It quickly, as he is jumping from person to person, the mayor wants someone to blame that's not the camp. And he's looking for who it is. At first, it was Xavier. And then it was you. And now as your explanation gets better, he is leaning back towards Xavier, who did CPR without certification. If you can give him something or someone to blame, he'll take it and run. As long as he can say this was not a camp incident, he'll be happy as a clam.
Who's in charge of scheduling? Is it Clayton?
I don't want to give you that easy of an owl. I don't think it is Clayton. I think that purely out of simple ease, Roger Green with an E at the end, so Roger Greene is the person in charge of the PA system and the person in charge of the schedules, just because that makes the most sense. They're sort of taking care of both things, because they're also the one that sets off some of the things that would go off at this same time.
I say, hey, Xavier, can you give me the pamphlet thing, the worksheet document?
Mm-hmm. Xavier gives the document.
You hand him.
And
I want to be super clear. This is on graph paper and was written in pencil and then photocopied. Xeroxed. This thing's a mess to look at.
I look and I say, yeah, you said 12, whatever, this happened, 12, this,
you mean his personal thing?
Yeah, his personal
I thought you meant the schedule. Okay, gotcha. No. He hands over this, notebook.
I say, I was supposed to be relieved of duty before the alarm went off for a shift on the lifeguard. I wasn't there, but the other lifeguard wasn't there either. I think that PA person, Roger something, I think that he either didn't schedule it outright or he did the alarm for lunch too early because the change of shift should have been happening at that point.
Okay. I love that. Now I'm going to have you do one last roll. This is just a luck roll to see if one of those two things is true. Right? I think you've given yourself a nice wide range here. What do you want? I think you're going to have a 4-number range. Do you want 1 through 4, or do you want 10 through 12? To be success.
10 through 12.
Okay. I'm going to change it to 8 through 12. That's not very fair, it occurs to me. So do you want 1 through 6 or 8 through 12? You're going to go with 8 through 12. It occurred to me the bell curve on getting 10, 11, or 12 was very low. So if you get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then one of these things will be true. 8.
I got an 8, baby.
You spin this, lean back, and I have a question. Does Brett wear a watch?
Oh, yeah.
Looking down at your watch, you see that it's like 2:15, and you think back on it, and you look up as you realize the lunch bugle did go off early. As you think about what time it did go off about 10 minutes early, and that's why so many of the kids were running at the time. You see, as Elias leans back, he takes out a little, like, reporter's pad of his own and goes, I had heard that went off early. All right. Well, I'm going to go talk to Roger Green. He stands up and goes, I need all of you to, just for now, we don't want any panic on camp. We've got a lot going on in the next few days. Zip it. An ambulance is going to pull up. We're going to take him out. As far as the other campers are concerned, Victor Miller bumped his head and is going to the hospital, and it's all very sad, and it's all going to be fine. Am I perfectly clear?
Perfect.
Deuces.
He stands up. You see him make eyes as he says that. Make eyes towards the office door. You turn and see through this like glass window door Anita Dean, the nurse, shooting him just a withering glare. She clearly, this is probably what that fight was over. You still see a slight rosy handprint on the side of his face where he got absolutely ripped just a few moments ago. It's now like 2 o'clock, 2:15. Like I was saying, the day is starting to sort of wear on as you all stand up a little shook from these events. What do we do now? Where do we find this group? I think we see Brett and Xavier sort of going through the door out into the main camp. What are the two of you talking about as we find you there?
I pull Brett aside and I say, Brett, my brother in arms, I know you do not believe in Grandpapa's tales, but I swear I pushed all the water out of that boy's lungs. I believe we should ride by torchlight over the lake tonight and search for this raft the boy was talking about.
Zay, you're just shitty at CPR. You're not certified.
You saw how much water came out. I sucked that boy dry.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot of water. You did suck him dry.
It's 70, I don't know. It's 76. One of the other kids goes, I for sure thought he sucked him right dry. Not a drop left in there.
And when I touched the liquid, my arm started to hurt really bad. Like, in a way that, like, there was deep pains in my elbow. Maybe we can go see if it's on the beach, and maybe you would feel the same thing I did.
As Xavier says that, Brett, you look down, and there's, like, soot or something. There's, like, black. It looks like dirt or maybe soot all up the side of Xavier's arm. Xavier, as you watch Brett look over, you look down, and sure enough, you see the same thing. It looks like somebody smeared dirt or charcoal up the sides of your arm.
This is exactly where it hurt, too.
All right. I'll go down to the beach, and I'm going to see if I see what you're talking about.
And then we ride at midnight.
I'm not riding by torchlight at midnight if I don't see anything. All right, that's crazy.
So here's my question, Brett. What are you supposed to be doing right now? You're a counselor.
Brett does pull out his sheet this time, and for the first time this entire summer reads it.
If you ever don't want to come, you can always deflect it back to me, but I'll ask because it's pretty much just for the scene. What is Brett supposed to be doing?
He goes, arts and crafts. Fucking suck at arts and crafts anyway. Let's go.
You look over as we are sort of making our way out over the side. Xavier, you're still on just sort of like, the sort of campus security duty of making your way around to make sure that no ne'er-do-wells are up to any shenanigans. We walk by the arts and crafts cabin, and we see one kid who is like hanging from one of the logs up on the top unsupervised, while another kid has like 2 sets of non-safety scissors out and is chasing another kid. Like, you guys just sort of making your way by as that descends into panic. This cabin's big enough that you've got, kids that are, any kid that can be left alone is at this camp. So you've got, kids that are between like 8 and like 18 sort of interacting, and so it is always so chaotic here.
I mean, whatever happens over there can't be worse than the water, right? Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
Safety scissors.
True. Yeah.
Okay. You guys head past and head over to that sort of sandy part of the beach. Ethan, you head to the main beachhead that people go out and swim at. It's all sand, genius. It's a beach around this lake. Making your way over, you're sort of moving over this kind of artificial thing. This is a lake beachhead, so it's obviously supposed to be gravel. You have vivid memories of the summer in like the late 60s when they shipped in sand to make it look better. Before that, it was a pebble beach, far less comfortable to use. As you're sort of making your way out, what are the two of you doing as you investigate the scene where Victor Miller might not have died here, but something happened?
Looking for the damp spot on the beach.
Brett doesn't really believe what's being espoused, but that thing about the raft is definitely catching him. So he's sort of glancing over the water, seeing if anything like that is jumping out at him.
Interesting. Absolutely. I think we gotta be investigating a mystery by now. My question is for you. I think for Xavier, we would be investigating a mystery. For Brett, are we investigating mystery or are we reading a bad situation?
I'm reading a bad situation.
All right.
I think maybe the kid was on a raft and somebody drowned him, somebody pushed him off.
Gotcha.
He fell off, hit his head, something like that. This is just normal shit that he's worried about.
Go ahead and roll plus sharp for me.
All right.
Both of us, or just
Brett for now. I'm going to ask you what Xavier's up to in just a second. I just want to resolve Brett's roll first.
That is a 6.
Okay, so that is a failure. So we are in hard move territory. I'm going to sweep on over to Xavier before I act on that. Xavier, what are you up to? While Brett, you watch is like looking out over the water. What are you up to?
Oh, I'm looking at the sand, looking at where the bodies were. I'm seeing if there's any more wet sand.
All right, I think we'll go ahead and roll plus sharp. We're going to call this investigate a mystery as you sort of start to look down. For a reason I'm not going to say yet, take a -1.
Oh, okay, then 6.
Oh, did I knock you out of it? No!
Yeah.
I think that's fair. You go down, you look at this area of the sand, and you start like pushing some of it away, and you're starting to get a clearer picture of what this is. You see this area where the sand has this like black stain to it, and you start to get kind of a weird smell in your nostrils. You look down just in time to hear Brett, the air knocked out of Brett's lungs, as running up behind you, Brett, and pushing you to the ground. Clayton Duggins knocks you over, rears up, and rocks you in the face for 1 harm.
Oh, what the fuck?
You think it's funny to push it on other people? Goes up to
Can I go
swing
to
down.
protect?
Yeah, absolutely.
For
Go
the
ahead and
second
roll. Roll plus tough.
All right. Wait, I gotta look at my thing because I get plus something for protecting.
They say this game's a conversation. They're not kidding. There are more. It's in case anybody, again, as if you're looking at this in the future to play Monster of the Week, it's oops all reactions. Everything is like off of this, off of that, off of this, off of that. So protect someone. You roll plus tough.
Yeah.
On a 7+,
Yeah.
basically you're going to take the harm. On a 10+, you can pretty much negate in this situation what's going on.
Yeah, I got 11.
An 11, awesome. So on a 10+, choose suffer little harm. All impending danger is now focused on you. Inflict harm on the enemy or hold the enemy back. In this case, the enemy being Clayton Duggins.
The true
And
enemy.
I take harm in all capacity.
So you suffer little harm.
Gotcha. I will.
Yeah, so basically, so we could say all danger is pointed towards you. The situation's not really dangerous. So what happens instead is 1 harm minus 1 harm becomes 0. He knocks Brett down, goes to punch him, and you just reach out and grab his wrist. And the punch doesn't land.
All right. Yeah, I just hold him back.
What the fuck is your problem?
You pull Clayton, who's like kicking back off of him, and he goes, "Stoner!" As you sort of throw him to the side. He kind of looks a little bruised, looks over. You see his wrist is a little bit bruised from where you just grabbed him. And he, like, spits and turns and runs off into the camp.
What the fuck is that guy's problem?
I told you the devil's lettuce brings only sin.
Yeah, but I'm the one who should be sinning.
No, you are but the garden, the cultivation. And it takes the good... I forget where I was going with this.
We hear
You're never gonna get a girlfriend.
From behind Brett's shoulders, we hear Tommy Wiggins go, "That one really got away from you, huh, Chief?" The three boys are always just close enough to be helpful. They're superimposed. They just appear long enough and then vanish. All right, so you go through that scene here. Ooh, cat's causing a bunch of trouble over here. You look down, Xavier, and realize that the area where this fight just occurred has ruined the place that you were just looking at for evidence. The sand has been scattered. If you're going to learn something, you're not going to learn it here.
We should go. You owe me. We go by raft by torchlight tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the keys to a jet ski. We'll just take that. We're not taking a fucking raft by torchlight. We'll just use an actual jet ski.
By torchlight.
By headlight.
I'm going to ask, I know Xavier isn't. Is Brett, like, popular in camp? Is he like, is he like the cool kid who smokes? Or is he the, like, nasty dude?
He's pretty nasty.
All right.
People aren't really... Only certain circles think he's cool, and it's basically the Bad Boys 3.
Go ahead and roll plus charm and tell me what the result is.
All right. 9.
9. No matter what, you were going to have what you needed to solve to get to the next sort of step here, but you had kind of a range. With 7 to 9, on a 1 through 6, you would know there is something going on tonight involving the lake, but you would not have been invited and you wouldn't know where it was. With a 7 to 9, you know that it is a tradition right before the night before the boat race. All of the kids who aren't part of it basically throw a party somewhere around the lake so that then they can watch the boat race the next morning from like the other side of the lake. So basically they all go have a party where the race is going to finish, and then sleep there, wake up the next morning to watch the race, which is at like 8 a.m. on July 4th. With 7 through 9, you know that's happening. You don't know where. Fuck. You've probably, the 3 marijuana cigarettes you probably knew well aware for this kind of evening. Xavier is whatever the opposite. Xavier, you've been told a variety of fake locations for this party to occur, and you only caught on because you got told 3 of them, and they were all different. They are trying to sort of get you as off the case as they can.
All right. Look, we're going to be out on the water, on the jet ski. There are going to be some kids out partying somewhere. They might see us. So if we get up into any hooliganism, they're going to see it. So just be aware of that. I don't know where they're going to be.
So I will not don my armor tonight. I will make sure carry light with my weapons.
Good. Maybe moving forward, do that every night.
Never know when you must be prepared.
Is the armor a ankle length leather duster? It's got to be, right? Like
Nope, it's just chainmail. It is literally just like a coat of chain.
What an no wait. Okay, you got to tell me more. Do
You
you have any idea how hard I would have been working to Chekhov's gun that chainmail if I had known that was... We would have already had a cutaway of that. So Xavier, we cut to a moment of pretty hard comedy in this fairly serious teen slasher fic. As Brett, you look back and then turn. We cut away to a memory of you helping Xavier load all of his shit into your van, and you pick up this big duffel bag and go, "What the fuck is in here?" and toss it in. And Xavier looks at you deadpan and says, "Chainmail." And you think it is the funniest
Fucking
joke in
books.
the world. You get like a good laugh in for a little while. You're like, "It's books or something." Go back around. And then we cut to the cabin, and there's a slightly unzipped duffel bag with chainmail inside of it.
Well, it says I get old-fashioned armor, which is one armor heavy.
You've
I
decided.
was like, that's
You
gotta be
nailed it.
chainmail,
It's
right?
listen. I love your choice. It is chainmail, and we had a whole scene in the extended cut of
I
you
love
lugging
Love
15 pounds of chainmail in the van.
Look, Xavier, I'm going to believe you because I'm pretty sure I felt that suit of chain armor. Don't wear that into the water. You'll drown. It's so heavy.
But whatever's fighting me will have the same disadvantages I do.
I mean, no, they won't. You'll be wearing a suit of armor.
But they won't be able to hurt me.
I guess. They will by throwing you into the water. Whatever. Don't wear it tonight.
My great sword, I'm very proficient in it now.
You, Brett, look and you see that behind Xavier, Jimmy and Davey look at each other and then look at Xavier, and you watch the unfortunate beginnings of them starting to think Xavier is cool as he reveals that he has a great sword that he has snuck into camp.
Yeah, Xavier, look. I mean, you got to be as kitted out as you want. I'm just telling you, we're going
You
onto the
carry
water.
your big knife everywhere. Look
Yeah.
at my knife. I pull out a pure silver dagger.
I pull out a Bowie knife, and I'm like, yeah, we've got knives, but like
It's
that's
1970.
from-
It's 1976. Jimmy, Tommy, and Davey all pull out pocket knives and are like, everyone
See,
has
we're
one
all
of
not.
these.
We're all carrying.
your gleaming silver blade from like Nazi Germany or something is crazy. That's a weird one to have, like a pocket knife, or like even
It
this
was
is maybe a little bit
Grandpa's.
much. I tuck it. Yeah, he was weird. It's strange to keep those things. Anyway,
Now that you're fighting darkness.
I guess. I mean, look, I owe you because you got that fucking asshole off of me. We'll go out tonight. Keep it low key. Don't tell people where we're going, and keep your eyes on a swivel or on the jet ski.
Crossbow and dagger. Fair.
That's, yeah,
You have a crossbow?
crossbow.
You-
Yeah,
Crossbow.
I'm gonna bring my knife.
How about your gun?
Shut the fuck up!
As the two of you sort of start to wander off, shut the fuck up, as you walk off towards another area, we cut away to another part of camp. Another bit of time goes by. The sun is getting low, the sky is getting orange, and we watch as, sort of trundling through the woods on a less than ideal kind of dirt path, we watch a pickup truck pull off to the side, a big Ford number. Making their way around to the back, we see two football dudes in jerseys pushing each other over as one of them gets to the back, opens up, and we see that there is a keg wedged in the corner, and a couple of other, there's a bunch of things of beer, but it's like they're all so it's like a bunch of 12 packs and 6 packs that are all open, and like a mix of other beers. This is clearly like a real scavenging run that these dudes have made. They're starting to unload off where there is off where we see kind of some wood stacked, and maybe this is where this party is going to happen tonight, as the two of them get back in the car, shutting the doors, turning on the radio. Another classic hit that we literally can't afford to play a single second of comes on the radio as the two of them drive off to some #1 Billboard hit. They wrap around the outside of this lake, making their way forward, moving through. One of them hears a loud clank, looks to the others. They stop the car, pulling off to the side of the road. The one looks, they're now on the real access road into and out of the camp. So the other guy goes, wait. Whatever's wrong now will still be fine in 2 minutes. They get back and drive off into the woods a little while so that some ranger or somebody doesn't come by and see the car. As they make their way out, looking around, the sun is shifting down. And because of where they are, we see it go behind that kind of cliffy section where Tommy and Jimmy were claiming to be cliff diving. The sun falling away. The one looks up and goes, I don't know, I don't hear. Ugh! We watch as a bit of metal comes up through his chest, and the other one goes, oh, ah! And we cut away from that scene. Where do we find, let's say Brett, as we smash cut out of that scene?
Brett is now around back of the counselors' cabins. He hasn't been invited to this party, but he knows what's going on. So he knows that a bunch of people are going to be looking for drugs and booze, and Brett's got that in spades. So these are like the last minute purchases. He's just ready to deal.
So Brett's been swamped for 2 hours,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. It's been like really constant. You've had people like walking up to you, some of the other counselors, a couple of people that you know that you have to not sell to. You're having to sort of dance this line of who's being genuine and who's trying to get you busted. And all the while, every now and again, you've been getting some people like scoffing or something in your direction. And with your sort of familiarity with what's going on, you keep occasionally seeing Clayton making his way around, and you starting to get the sense that he is maybe not keeping his hush order as well as he should, at least by Mayor Elias's wills.
Fucking asshole.
So are you trying to get information about where the party is? So let's jump into that scene. Who do you approach? Who do you walk up and talk to try to get that intel?
I think
because unfortunately Bad Boys 3 are too young to get invited to this party. They're
not
no
going.
way. Everybody here is
I
gonna
don't
be
sell
like,
the Bad Boys 3 drugs.
Yeah.
They just think I'm cool.
everybody here is going to be like 16 plus at the lowest.
Yeah.
Can I roll to help?
If you want to be in the scene, I was going to ask if you wanted to be somewhere else. If you're in the scene, tell me what you're doing.
I'd be down.
Okay, yeah.
I'd be
So
down
what?
to be- as
So
long as you're
Brett
okay with
is
it.
actively selling drugs and trying to get information. What is Xavier doing as a part of this drug dealing?
He's shadow boxing in the corner.
What?
Okay, here's what that would do. That would keep Clayton and his fucking goons away long enough that somebody might be able to come up and chat with me.
I think that's fair.
That's what we got.
I think that's fair if it is intimidating enough. So Xavier, go ahead and roll to help out. Roll plus cool to shadow box in a corner in a way that doesn't make you look like a giant dork.
8.
8. Your help grants them +1, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger. You're like shadow boxing off in the corner, and it is keeping Clayton and his cronies away, which is good because it's not affecting the customer base. It's not making anybody nervous. Brett, you're sort of having all of this, these chats with different people. You're gonna take a +1. As you do, eventually you see Clayton and a couple of the other larger, sort of like the same jock crowd that he runs with. And he does one of the first things to make you nervous. Before he's just kind of like mean mugging and staying around you, you see he starts like whispering around with a few of them, and then they scram. So they get some other idea about what to do. You have a +1 though. Who do we find you talking to that in isolation you get that benefit? What's up, Ty?
He just has +2.
+2, of course. I'm gonna write that on my sheet here. I keep forgetting.
The same blonde who screamed at the beach that Xavier called a 6. She's one of the more clean-cut crowd, so does not know drug deals or any of this, so she's intimidated. She walks up, and Brett is, giving her the spiel on what she should and shouldn't take, which maybe if she's her first time, she should do this. He's basically going to sell her like a weed brownie and tell her to be on her way. I mean, a couple wine coolers. But before she goes, Brett says, what happened to the beach was awful. So, use this stuff. This time it's on the house. It's all good.
All right. You say that to Cheryl Bellman, Go ahead and roll charm. You got a +2. That's crazy good, Xavier. That's awesome.
13.
13. Huge success. With that, they'll do what you said for the reason that you laid out. With that, we will with a charm roll, getting this moment you hand this thing over. Cheryl is sort of roughly is probably then one of the oldest groups of campers. She's probably like 17 or 18. Had this sort of like anxious look. I don't know. I might have described her age earlier. I can't remember if I did or not.
I totally forget.
Takes it from you. She looks at you, Brett, and you see like kind of a warmer look over her face, and she goes, I didn't know you really cared that way about these kids. Taking it from you, she goes, well, later if you want. It's not a big deal. Across the lake do you know the it's not like it's like the old swim access where Raymond broke his ankle, and this happened last year. An absolute dipshit of a kid named Raymond tried to do a trick on the tire swing and snapped his ankle doing it, and they won't let anybody use that like whole area of the beach anymore because it was all like tire swings and beer cans, so they basically like closed it off.
Yeah, over in the southwest.
Well, a bunch of us are going to be hanging out. Well, we're going to go run over there and use the boat race. So when you're free doing that, I mean, you'll probably make a lot of money over there or something.
That's good to know. Yeah. Hey, I'll see you there.
Yeah. Yeah. She turns and runs, maybe a little smitten by the bad boy with the trunk full of drugs. And you're like, you might, because Xavier has made something canon, you're like, yeah, she is kind of a 6, I guess. I don't know. That's up to you.
Still got it, Xavier. I still got it.
He's not a 6 in looks, just personality. I can't stand someone that is powerless in the face of fear.
You know what? Actually, that makes it. I get that.
I have such a clear picture of Xavier. I guarantee you, I do have a real question. The only question in my heart right now, and you don't need to make this true, is Xavier's name Alex? Like, there's something like that right under the surface. Like, that Brett is painfully aware that Xavier has a camp name that he's like real big on. I absolutely love it. With that scene, we watch the sun sort of continuing to get lower in the sky. Now, genuine sunset coming for all of you. A little bit later in the night, it's the end of July 3rd. Parties are about to start. The younger kids are going to be telling stories about this and that, maybe running off to cause their own mischief. And all the other counselors, of which there are many, are mainly going to be trying to wrangle that, trying to prevent some of the chaos that may ensue. Okay. You've got a while until that party is going to start. That's not going to kick up until, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that leaves you with a couple of hours. I'll say it's 9:41 now. We've got 19 minutes left. Let's get one more thing from each of you. And I do want, if at all possible, I would like to try these separate. Let's see if we can cast a little bit of a wider net. Do either of you have an idea for something that your character would be doing alongside the montage of Xavier like pulling a crossbow from an Army Navy store out of a bag and like fiddling with it and sticking it in another bag that he slings over his shoulder, and Brett rolling up this ridiculous contraption of drug dealing? Who wants to take the sort of first scene here?
You know what? Xavier is going to read from Grandpapa's book of myth and folklore and monsters in the area.
Yeah, okay. Sort of like thumbing and flipping through. Xavier.
Yeah, it's called The New American Monster. It was written when the original 13 colonies were being settled, and that is when the sect wrote the book, and it's about the monsters all along the East Coast.
It's like full of... Oh, so this has been added to over time.
Yeah.
So great. So I'm going to let you pick. I feel like this might be investigative mystery, right? It seems like you're sort of trying to delve into some potential details of what's happening.
Yeah.
That's plus sharp. If there's anything else you want to go for, I'm cool with that. You just got to let me know what it is.
No, I think sharp is the right one. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
I got 10.
10 plus, hold 2. We're going to be reasonable with these questions, but you get to hold 2 and you get to ask me 2 of the following questions. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here? And you're doing that by looking at these notes and references and trying to look for things that match. So just try to sort of, click those 2 thoughts together.
I think it would be what can hurt it. Well, it's a monster book, so what kind of creature is it, and what can hurt it?
Flipping through.
I feel like that would be the what a monster book would contain.
It's the macro information. It's just
right.
The
yeah,
big
it is not the. It does not have any idea why the fuck it would do something. It has,
Yeah. You're flipping through, and there's all these different accounts coming from different areas of this sort of Northwest, and the one that jumps out to you is an old case. The book was written during sort of the founding, and in the time since then, many of these stories come out. This one surrounds an incident of supernatural nature that happened around Salem, Massachusetts. A body was found. You see some notes in a couple of different handwritings, many of which you don't recognize. Not your grandpapa's. Different in different fonts and different inks. You get the sense that this book has had notes placed in it by many different people and transcribed by others. And you see a bunch of these different monsters, a bunch of these things that are outlined in different parts, have had whatever esoteric name was given to them in, the early 1800s, crossed out and had the drowned written next to it. And there's 9 different creatures that at some point in the past were separated into different categories that seemingly some of their contemporaries, some of your fellows, as I'm sure Xavier thinks of it, have discovered to be the same thing. And you start to get a sense of this thing called the drowned. When a person or people are killed in very traumatic drowning, when they feel betrayed and wrathful in those final moments, sometimes they become this other thing. And what clues you in is you see reference after reference after reference to people drowning to death on dry land, which would absolutely jump to you about what happened. You saved Victor Miller. You don't officially know CPR, but you've read your fair share of manuals. You practiced on a couple of training dummies you stole from here or there. One of them might have been a blow-up doll. You weren't really sure. You know you did it right, and you did magic about it. That kid was safe, and he drowned in the nurse's office like he was underwater. So that's number 1. Number 2, what can hurt it? Vengeful spirits can only go so many ways. Either 1, they get the vengeance they're going for, or 2, they're laid to rest, and that's different for everybody. It could be finding their body and putting it where it's supposed to be. It could be finding an heirloom and giving it to the person it's supposed to belong to. Something is anchoring them here, and you're going to have to do something about it. And if you're not careful, Xavier, Victor Miller might not be the last drowning victim at this camp tonight.
Dun, dun, dun.
Come on, don't be mean. I'm trying to weave a spooky tale. No, you're fine.
No, I like that.
It's great. I love it. Another ring that we can't afford to put in post. Put it in, Spencer. Put it in post. get on
our stream.
Yeah, put it in post on the stream. It's gonna be great.
Wait, just take this noise. Wow, 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 and now you will take that, and then you'll put it post.
I'll synthesize it.
We actually pay.
Yeah.
Tyler gets. Is he actually the only person who's paid to do these streams? He does all the Foley. He's doing the music right now. You actually can't tell. He's got a full MIDI keyboard. No, of course. Actually, do remind me. I do need to shout out our music at the end of the stream here. So with that, we're going to cut over to Brett as Xavier's posting through these notes sees this, and we see him writing on the other hand on a loose leaf of paper. He's writing in a composition notebook, tears the page out, and runs out the door to go find Brett. We cut to Brett. Where do we find him?
Brett is alone in his like corner of the cabin. I assume each counselor's like kind of private rooms, but not really. He's sitting there on his cot, and he's looking at his dresser. He stands up and he opens up the top drawer, and he unfurls a sweater that is in there, like Ranger rolled up, unfurls that. Then a pair of pants is inside of that, and he unfurls that. And you see a gleaming 22 caliber handgun. And he looks at it, shakes his head a little bit, grabs it, and tucks it into his waistband.
It's getting real. I love it.
And that's all he does.
Tucks the 22 in the back of his pants and steps out of the cabin just in time to see Xavier. Is Xavier normal running or Naruto running again?
He's normal running now. He's normal.
Turn just in time to see Xavier normal running through camp over to where you are, a sheet of paper in a clenched fist in his other hand.
Listen, Brett, I found it. The beast we are looking for is the drowned. We must help them find their final resting place or recover their body. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't look like we can beat it up.
All right. I'll keep my eyes peeled for the drowned. I'm also gonna ask around at the party if anybody's been on a raft in the last, day or so, if they've seen something like that.
So I was thinking myself, Brett, as I often do, sometimes. What if the boy was talking about being taken to the raft because the drowned wants its body to be found? It's on a raft. So therefore, we must find the raft without being drowned by the drowned, releasing the curse and saving the drowned.
Bottom line is, we're both looking for a raft.
Cool. Fair enough.
I'm looking for a raft.
I'm looking for a raft. So we're good.
All right.
Chicken on a raft on a Sunday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see.
We watch as Brett and Xavier are making their way through the woods across the other side, and we keep cutting back and forth to scenes of people showing up to the party. I think that maybe, again, in the fully produced, extremely expensive version of this show, as Xavier's flipping through pages, we cut away to see that keg being placed near one of the tables and somebody looking around and asking with a concerned look on their face, probably looking for those two who dropped it off, their truck now gone. We cut back to Xavier writing in those pages, writing to the side, taking his notes. We cut back to the party and we see people like setting up cups to play beer pong, getting as much other things going as they can. Somebody's putting out a handheld radio on a table for some music as we cut to Brett looking at the dresser. We cut back and forth a few times to scenes of people getting ready for the party, just as Brett tucks the gun in the back of his pants and Xavier grabs that bag with the crossbow, and they both head out into the night, thinking that there's by the sounds of it, Brett thinking that there is some mad person looking to cause trouble with a raft in these moments before the boat race between the various different campers and different canopies, and Xavier steeling himself for supernatural combat. At that same time, we watch two other scenes play out that hopefully will both prove true. We watch as Nurse Anita turns around the corner out just in time to see a sort of shaky teen getting his legs back under him, going, I'll be fine. I'm ready to go out there. And we see Stefan's character, who we don't have a description for yet, walk out of the door just as a gorgeous car pulls up. Something like really officey. I don't know what that would be in like 76. I like to think it's I don't know, I'm thinking of like what's the like cop ass car, like the Royale or something.
Yeah,
one of
Crown
those
Vic.
Crown Vic. And hopefully that's 76. We'll roll with it for now. We watch Crown Vic pull up and around a young man who was driven out of the camp just a few hours ago sitting, and we cut over and we see the form of Elias Findale go out there, keep an eye open, look at me, you're my eldest son, These things are your job now, too. Go make sure everything stays fine tonight. And he opens the door, and Michael's character goes out through there. We'll find out who's playing those two characters next time. I'll get a little bit of a description as they head off into the night, our party converging. With that, it's 9:53. I think we're going to call that our first episode of Scheduling Conflicts Presents Summer Camp Slasher, The Drowning of Victor Miller. Victor's done. We're on to bigger and better things in the days to come, folks. First things first, I don't want to forget, so let me go ahead and I'm trying to find it as quick as I can. I have to make sure it doesn't blast into the microphone because I knew an ad was going to come up. I'm drowning in ads right now. I don't know about you guys. Like on TikTok, all I get are ads. It's a huge pain. Music is from a YouTube channel called White Bat Audio. They have a couple of royalty-free things. This one is the 2.5-hour John Carpenter style retro synth mix. One of my favorites for this sort of spooky environmental stuff. You can catch this stream for the next 2 weeks only. This is an exclusive. You can catch Summer Camp Slasher, part of Scheduling Conflicts, on Tuesdays from 8 to 10. We started a little late today, I know. We were trying to get the idea together. To be honest, we didn't necessarily know we were doing this until pretty recently, so, we got a couple of irons in the fire. After that, you'll be able to watch Scheduling Conflicts, not Scheduling Conflicts, The Party Makes Things Worse Haven, Spencer's wonderful show. We got one episode in, and then a bunch of stuff came up, so I'm very excited to get back into those characters. It was a blast. That'll be that same time. That's 8 to 10, sometimes 8 to 10:30, maybe a little bit later. It depends on sort of what everybody's up to. On Thursdays, you can catch DM Writer's Room. Tentatively, we might have that in 2 days. Our other co-host is feeling a little bit under the weather. Maybe we'll figure out something else that we could do. Maybe we can drag one of our other party members into that. We'll see. And then Sundays, we have a show that we've been calling Game Masters. Last session was an apocalyptically bad game of Baldur's Gate 3.
Game Masters, Masters of Games. We aren't exactly any of that.
We're working
bad
on
at video
it.
games.
We had the worst sequence of rolls ever. There was like 9 super painful combats. But hopefully next time we'll be back on the high horse. That's from, gosh, is it 7 or 7:30? I can never remember.
It is 7 to 9, but
usually
we do
9.
10.
Yeah, 7 to 9, maybe 9:30. Okay, so Sundays 7 to 9. Game Masters, Master of Games. So far that's been going okay. I don't think I missed anything. Tyler, do you have anything to plug? I don't think so.
See you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday. There we go. Absolutely.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, San Diego. Hopefully, we will be joined by Michael and Stefan. And then for our third episode, Tyler's going to be busy, but I think that'll have us pretty crystal clear. And then we'll be back in, hopefully a little warmed up from having gotten to immediately take a break and switch genres. All right. With that, we're going to call the stream here. Hopefully, we will see you all in a few days and in our future streams. Check out us on TikTok, TTRP Guy. I knew I was forgetting something, damn it! On TikTok, TTRP Guy. Check us out on DriveThruRPG. We have our first adventure out. It's been out for a little while now, called Lich's Dollhouse, a great introduction to D&D, level 1, very soon-ish. We have another one, Void's Eye Observatory, that's just about ready. And moving ahead on another project, a little bit bigger, a little bit grander in scale, that we're pretty excited about. A bunch of you, this is a specific call out, a bunch of you have a $3 adventure in your wish list.
17 of you.
Buy it. It's $3. I'd be less offended if you just said no and scrolled down. Wish list? It's $3. Yeah, absolutely. But no, we appreciate it. With that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. Happy hunting. We'll see you next week.